What's up, everybody? Welcome to another monthly ranking video where I rank every movie that I watch for the first time of each month. And today, this is my ranking for every first watch of January 2024. Yes. So, all right. So, this one, there are 12 movies, and you'll notice something kind of odd about this one. All except for two movies are actually they're all 2023 films because I was working on a my next video, which will be ranking all the movies that I watched of 2023. But yeah, I had to watch a bunch of 2023 movies because at that point I only watched like four before I started those. So yeah, but I've seen 10 more now, and so I'll be talking about those movies again in the next video. But the two that aren't 2023 movies, those are Mel Brooks movies. Because in my last monthly ranking video, I had three Mel Brooks movies, and these are the two others that I saw, but I saw them in January, not December. So yeah, it's kind of a weird ranking, but yeah. And also, my number one is only an 8 out of 10, so yeah. This is the best ranking, but, of the monthly rankings, but yeah. But, alright, so of course, keep in mind personal opinions. There's going to be, I don't know, there might be some on here that people might like, but I might not like them as much. So okay. Without all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay, so coming in at number 12, my least favorite movie that I watched for the first time in January of 2024 is one of the Mel Brooks movies. It was his final film before he retired, and that was Dracula Dead and Loving It. Yeah, I'll go and say this so far at least, and it wouldn't surprise me if it stays too. But this is my least favorite Mel Brooks movie. This wasn't really that funny, aside from maybe a few jokes that kind of made me chuckle. But it wasn't very funny. It was just I don't know. I mean, of course, it's a parody, but it didn't work, and it definitely wasn't no Young Frankenstein. So yeah. So Mel Brooks, he's done both Dracula and Frankenstein, but his attempt on Frankenstein was much better. This one, not so much. Leslie Nielsen was okay, I guess, as Dracula. He was trying, and he was kind of funny at times. I like Leslie Nielsen anyways. He's pretty funny, but or is it Leslie Nielsen? I don't know, but I think it's Nielsen. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. Mel Brooks himself was kind of funny in this. I thought he was probably the funniest one. I think he played Van Helsing, if I'm not mistaken. But the guy who played Renfield was really annoying, and I just yeah. But there's actually another movie, and in my opinion, a much better movie that has Dracula and Renfield, and we'll get to that later. But that's on this ranking. But yeah, Dracula Dead and Loving It. Wasn't a fan. Wasn't very good. So yeah, that's my number 12. All right, so coming in at number 11. Now this one, I don't know. I put this over Dracula Dead and Loving It just because it wasn't really like annoying like Dracula was, but this one, didn't care for it either. That was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the most recent and hopefully final installment into the Indiana Jones franchise. I mean, surely it will be, right? Because Harrison Ford is in his 80s now, which, I mean, I don't even think he should have done this movie, but yeah, this is definitely the worst Indiana Jones movie. Now, I won't say it's a complete piece of shit because it wasn't. Like, I didn't think it was terrible. It just wasn't that great, but it was just kind of boring and just yeah, I don't know. Harrison Ford wasn't even. I mean, he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't like all that great in this one. This is out of all four. Even Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I thought he was good in that one, but this one, I don't know. He just, it kind of just felt like he didn't want to be there. So, yeah. The actress who played the girl, his goddaughter, she was all right. I thought she was pretty decent. And what's his name? Mads Mikkelsen. I thought he was okay as the villain. Now I will say, I actually didn't mind the ending. I thought the ending, while kind of odd, I I kind of felt it was pretty cute and charming and stuff, and I kind of liked it. Now, it wasn't really like a great ending to the franchise, but for the movie itself, I thought it was okay. I actually didn't mind the ending, but yeah, but honestly, I mean, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a much better ending though than this one. I know there's a lot of people that hate that movie. I actually don't mind that one. In fact, I'm going to say something very controversial. I prefer Kingdom of the Crystal Skull over Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom, up until this point, Temple of Doom was my least favorite Indiana Jones movie, but I will admit Temple of Doom is better than this one. So, yeah, it's not the worst anymore, but it was for me for a while. So, yeah. But, yeah, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, it's whatever. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. I wouldn't mind watching the other four, even Temple of Doom again, but this one, I can do without it. So yeah, Dial of Destiny, that's my number 11. Okay, coming in at number 10, we have the only Best Picture winner of 2023 that I've seen so far, because all the others I couldn't find. I couldn't find streaming. This was the only one that was available because it was on Netflix. It was a Netflix original movie. That is Maestro. I wasn't looking forward to this one, and I don't know. I like Bradley Cooper, and he was good in this movie. His direction was actually really good. Carey Mulligan was fine too. Not the best Carey Mulligan performance. She's better in Promising Young Woman and Inside Llewyn Davis, but she was fine. It was nice to see Maya Hawke because I kind of have a crush on her. So yeah, but this movie does have some good stuff, like some good cinematography, some really good editing, and whatnot, and there's some good scenes in it. Like there's some scenes like of him conducting that I actually really enjoyed. It was really cool. He was like so excited and stuff. It was just cool to see. And I went into this movie not knowing really who Leonard Bernstein was, to be honest, because I'm uncultured. I think before this, I only heard his name in the REM song "It's the End of the World as We Know It," which was actually in the movie at one point. I thought it was kind of funny, but yeah, it wasn't a bad movie by any means. I thought it was a better movie than what I liked, if that makes any sense. Kind of like what I think about The Godfather. It's a good movie, but it's just not for me. That's how I felt about this one. It just wasn't for me. I don't know. It was fine. I don't know if I'll watch it again. I don't know, but yeah. And I haven't seen. By the way, this is Bradley Cooper's second directed film. I haven't seen Stars Born yet. I know I need to. Also, randomly, Sarah Silverman is in this movie. I thought it was very weird that she was in this movie. She was all right though. But anyways, yeah, Maestro. It was an okay movie. Just not for me. So I mean, it was decent. So yeah. That's my number 10 is Maestro. Okay, now this one might piss some people off that I have this over Maestro, but I had a better time with this one, even though, yeah, this movie's not good and it's worse than Maestro, but yeah. My number 9 is Cocaine Bear. Yeah, I saw Cocaine Bear. I wasn't really looking forward to it, but I was kind of curious about it just to see. I thought maybe it would be a so bad it's good movie, and yeah, it was. It was enjoyable. I wouldn't necessarily call it like a bad movie, but it wasn't great, but I don't know. That's the whole point of the film, and I had a pretty decent time with this. I didn't love it, but there were some enjoyable scenes in it, some funny characters and whatnot. It was cool it was nice to see Kerry Russell in this movie. I like her a lot. And this was also, I believe, Ray Liotta's last movie, if I'm not mistaken. But that's kind of sad that his last performance was in this movie. But yeah, Cocaine Bear. It was dumb, but I kind of, it was all right. Yeah. But yeah, Cocaine Bear. That's my number 9. Okay, coming at number 8, we have the other Mel Brooks movie, and that is Life Stinks. Now this movie, it's not great, but I still had a pretty good time with it. It was still, at least it was funny. It wasn't, like, Dracula Dead and Loving It wasn't that funny, but this one was pretty funny, at least for the most part. I mean, not every joke landed, but for the most part, I thought it was pretty funny. Mel Brooks plays this guy who's a rich guy, but he's like in a bet and he has to like be homeless for like a week or something. I don't know, but yeah, he acts like he's homeless and stuff, and he gets in a relationship with this homeless woman, and it's pretty funny. I enjoyed it pretty well and pretty good enough. And yeah, not a great movie, but I still enjoyed it. So yeah, Life Stinks. That's my number 8. Okay, coming in at number 7. Now this one some people might not like that I have this. People probably think I should have this higher. I don't think, no. This wasn't. Surprisingly, this was not. Was this a Best Picture nominee? I don't think it was. You know what? Let me check that real quick. I don't think this was a Best Picture nominee. It did. I think it got some Oscars. Some nominations, but I don't know. Let me check real quick. Be right back. Okay, so this movie wasn't nominated for Best Picture. In fact, the only nomination that it got was Best Original Screenplay. But my number 7 is May December, starring Natalie Portman and Julia Moore, and it was directed by is it Todd Haynes? Is that his name? I think so. Who did Carol? That was the only other movie I've ever seen of his. But yeah, May December, this was kind of disappointing for me, if I'm going to be honest, because it started out pretty good, or at least really interesting, but by the end of the movie, it just didn't do much for me. I didn't think it like went anywhere in the ending. Like, it didn't do anything really, and just, I don't know. It felt kind of bland by the end of it, but it started out at least pretty interesting. I mean, the idea of the story is very interesting. It's pretty weird, but if you know, you know. If you've seen this movie, it's loosely based off of a true event, actually. But Natalie Portman was fantastic. She was really good. I'm actually surprised that she wasn't nominated for Best Actress, but she probably should have got a nomination. She was really good. Julia Moore was also very good as well. Now, there was a lot of people that were saying that Charles Melton, they said that he got snubbed for the Oscar. I gotta disagree. I didn't really like Charles Melton in this movie. I didn't think he was that good. Everyone was like saying that he was so good and he should have got a nomination. I'm sorry, but I didn't see it. I didn't think he was that good in the movie. Like, I really didn't. And I don't know. Like, it was like there was like one scene where he was supposed to be angry, but he wasn't that great in that scene, if I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, no, I didn't really think he was that good. So yeah, I'm glad he didn't get the nomination. But and also I think I had another thing about this movie. There was like the score, while I think is pretty good, there's like this piano score in it, and it kind of makes it sound like it's a soap opera, which works for the movie, I will say, because this is kind of like a soap opera-ish kind of movie. But it was very repetitive, though. It just kept coming up like the exact same song, and I'm like, good lord, like, why do you... It was just very repetitive, and didn't like that. So, yeah. Yeah, I preferred Carol over this one. Carol was a good movie. This one, it was alright, but I mean, it was a decent movie, but I don't know. I don't even think I'll ever watch it again, to be honest. So, yeah, May December, that's my number 7. Okay, coming at number 6. Now, this one, people might not like that I have this over May December, because apparently not a lot of people liked this movie, and I thought it was decent. That is Renfield, which, yeah, I talked about before. I said that this, yeah, I had another Dracula movie on here. Renfield, yeah, Nicolas Cage as Dracula, who I will say was the best part of this movie. Like, perfect casting, and yeah. Although there is another, like, vampire kind of movie, Vampire's Kiss, that is, starring Nicolas Cage, which is much better than this one. At least in terms of Cage's acting, because actually that movie's not really that good, but Cage makes it good, because he was fantastic in that film. But he's also fantastic in this movie. And is it Nicholas Hoult? Is that who plays Renfield? Yes, Nicholas Hoult was pretty decent as well. Even Awkwafina wasn't bad in this movie. But yeah, it was a very interesting film, and and I enjoyed it very much. But it was also really violent. Like the violence in this movie was pretty nuts, honestly. Like, I was actually expecting more violence than Cocaine Bear, but this one had even more violence than Cocaine Bear, like more in like crazy intense violence. And yeah, it was pretty crazy, but yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't a great movie, but I thought it was alright. So yeah, Renfield, that's my number 6. Okay, coming at number 5. Now, I did talk about this one in my Ari Aster ranking. And it was my least favorite Ari Aster film. That is Beau is Afraid. Yeah, okay, now, kind of much like May December, while this movie I enjoyed a lot better than that one. Much like that one, it started out really good. Beau is Afraid, it started out really good. The first half of the film, I really enjoyed. Like, the first act especially was so good, and I was like, man, if they keep this up, this might be my favorite Ari Aster film. But then the second act didn't do much for me, and it went in weird directions I just didn't understand, and that play scene went on for way too long. It was just dragging for me. While yeah, it did have cool visuals and makeup, a good makeup job and whatnot, but it just went on for too long. I didn't like the ending. I thought the twist with his dad was like, what? But, you know, Joaquin Phoenix, of course, was fantastic as always. And yeah, the first half was really good. But, it lost me on the second half. Now, if I rewatch this movie, maybe I'll like it better. We'll see. But, I don't know. It was kind of a disappointment by the end. But, yeah. Beau's Afraid, that's my number 5. Okay, now coming at number 4, I wish I ranked Beau's Afraid higher than this one, but just because of the disappointing second half of the film, I like this one just a little bit better. That is Wes Anderson's most recent film, Asteroid City, which I did talk about in my updated Wes Anderson ranking. It was fine. Asteroid City was okay. And I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. I liked it better than the one before, The French Dispatch, so there's that. But I will say it's probably my second least favorite Wes Anderson film. But, you know, it was fine. You know, everyone was great in it, as always, in Wes Anderson films. You know, it has a shitload. Yeah, it has a bunch of actors in it, a star-studded cast. And I thought they were all good. But I will say the cinematography, while, of course, always good like it is in Wes Anderson films, I will say, like, I didn't like the color palette or whatever you want to call it in this film. It was way too colorful, and it kind of hurted my eyes at times. It did. So yeah, but you know, it was okay. It was an okay Wes Anderson film, and maybe I'll like it better on rewatch. I don't know, but yeah. But yeah, that's my number 4 is Asteroid City. Okay, coming at number 3. Now this one, I saw this. I actually saw this in theaters, and believe it or not, this was the first movie I ever seen in theaters ever since 2012. I haven't been to the movie theater in 11 years, if you could believe that. Almost 12 years. But yeah, the last movie I watched in 2012 was actually The Dark Knight Rises. But this one was the first time I ever been. I mean, yeah, this was first time in 11 years since I've been to the theater. I saw this, and it is Anyone But You. This rom com starring Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good, especially for a rom com around these days, it was actually pretty funny. There's some really funny characters in this movie, and I enjoyed the two leads. That I thought they had great chemistry together, and yeah, it was a good movie. There was at least one part in the movie that did drag it down for me, and that was close to the end of the film. They kind of ended with almost like a musical number, sort of, like with the characters singing this song and stuff, and I thought that was a bit too much, if I'm going to be honest. That was the only thing I didn't really like about it. It kind of came off a little cringy, if I'm going to be honest, and now, I will say, a movie that did it much better, while it was kind of cringy too, but at least it was just kind of weird and funny, that was The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Whenever they ended that movie singing, was it Aquarius slash Let the Sun Shine In? That was, that was a really weird way to end the movie, but I thought that it did it a little better than this one. But yeah, that's my only complaint. Other than that, I thought this movie was pretty good, and it was funny, and yeah. However, my next one is another rom-com that I thought was better, and I just had more fun with this one. But yeah, Anyone But You is my number 3. My number 2, however, is No Hard Feelings, starring Jennifer Lawrence. I liked this one better. This one was funnier. Jennifer Lawrence was fantastic in this film, and the guy who plays, the guy Andrew Barth Feldman, he was also very good, and they had very good chemistry together. Matthew Broderick is in this movie, and he looks really weird, and I didn't even recognize him when I first saw him. But yeah, he plays the kid's dad. And yeah, this is just much like Anyone But You, both of these movies are just what rom-coms need to be. They're both hard R, and have raunchy humor. We don't really get those nowadays, but both of these, I thought they did it very well. This one I thought did it a little bit better, but yeah. Also, this movie had a Stooges song, surprisingly. It had Down on the Street by the Stooges. I was really surprised to hear that song in the movie. I was so happy when I heard it, though. That was so cool. But yeah, I liked No Hard Feelings. I liked it better than Anyone But You. I gave Anyone But You a 7 out of 10. I would have gave it a 8 if it wasn't for that ending with the song, but I did, however, give No Hard Feelings an 8 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed it. So yeah, No Hard Feelings is my number 2. However, my number 1, now this is gonna be a weird one, but I'll go ahead and say this is my favorite movie of last year. It's a weird one, but that is M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin. I know, and not a lot of people, I don't think, liked this movie, but I really enjoyed it. Surprisingly, I actually had a good time with this movie. This was just such a kind of a unique idea for a film, and I thought it was done pretty well. The ending could have been a little better, but I still didn't mind the ending. I thought the ending was fine. But it could have been a little bit better, but I still enjoyed it. Batista was amazing. I know he goes by Dave Batista nowadays, but I call him Batista because I grew up with him whenever he was in WWE as just Batista. So I just call him Batista, but Batista was fantastic. He really impressed me in this movie, and the other three actors that was with him with his character, they were all good too. And one of them being Rupert Grint, aka Ron Weasley. Like, that was actually, I think, the first time I ever heard him with an American accent, and yeah, it was kind of interesting. But yeah, and the guys who played the gay couple and their daughter, they were all good too. And yeah, it's a very unique idea for a film, and it gets pretty intense at times in this movie. But yeah, and this is actually my favorite M. Night Shyamalan film too so far that I've seen. And I've even seen The Sixth Sense. I haven't seen Unbreakable yet, but I have seen The Sixth Sense, and I liked it better than The Sixth Sense. What can I say? But yeah, Knock at the Cabin. This is actually my favorite movie of 2023, at least so far that I've seen. Yeah, I think so far I've only seen about maybe 14 films of 2023, and spoilers for that ranking, but that is my number one. So, but yeah, Knock at the Cabin, that is also my favorite movie that I watched for the first time in January of 2024. So yeah. All right, there we go. There is my ranking for all of the first watches of January 2024. So in the comments, give me like all the movies that you've seen. All the first watch movies that you've seen in January 2024. You can rank them if you want, or just say which ones are your favorites, least favorites. And if you want to say what your favorite, least favorite from this ranking is, put that down in the comments as well. So, okay, so, yes, next Wednesday will be, like I said, my ranking for all the movies that I watched. All the movies that I watched of 2023 ranked. That will be next week. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a weird list. I mean, like I said, Knock the Cabin's number one. But there's also going to be some movies that I didn't get to see that won't be on there. So yeah. But, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell. And I'll see you guys later. All right. Peace.